UN Special Envoy Lakhdar Brahimi appeared exhausted and disappointed by what he described as laborious negotiations for Syrian peace in Geneva. But he had little to show at the end of the talks. In fact, no date has been set for a third round of talks. Instead, he asked both sides to return home and reflect on whether or not they really wanted to achieve a peace agreement. Instead, he also offered an apology to the Syrian people.
I apologize to them that on these two rounds we haven't helped them very much.
Now, in the first round of talks, just getting to the negotiating table was considered progress, but it's pretty clear that on the second round, very little, if anything, has been achieved. The Syrian opposition put out a very quick statement at the end of the talks, blaming the Syrian regime for the lack of any breakthrough. They said that the Syrian regime would not even consider talking about a transitional governing body, which, of course, would go to the heart of any peace agreement.
We would like to stop the fighting. We'd like to achieve the transition to democracy, to freedom, to dignity. But the regime is stalling, trying to delay, try to divert us from the main issues and get us bogged down.
As far as the Syrian regime is concerned, they have said that they will not consider talking about any sort of transitional government until the opposition deals with what the regime calls terrorism within its own ranks.
We said that we cannot move from item 1, to item 2 or item 3 or item 4 without fully considering this item and concluding by a common vision of this item by the two sides. Something that the other side objected to by saying, no, we don't agree with this reading. So they wanted to dictate their own interpretation of the agenda in a very wrong way. And this is where the problem started between the two sides.
Now, normally with this kind of an impasse, it's up to third parties, in this case the United States and in particular Russia, to leverage pressure on both sides to make concessions, but that simply does not seem to be happening. And Brahimi emphasized in the press conference that the government in particular, the Syrian government, needs to go back and reflect on this and consider whether or not it really wants to achieve any sort of a deal. And until that is considered, until it looks like there's some sort of a breakthrough that can be made, there should be no date set for a third round of talks, because according to Brahimi, he doesn't want to see another round of talks simply fall into the same trap again. Atika Schubert, CNN, London.